Welcome to another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton, and today's guest is Mollie Bollers. She'll be discussing prenatal and postnatal massage. Since 2004, Mollie Bollers, prenatal massage expert and founder of Hoboken Women's Wellness, has helped thousands of expecting families to have healthier, more comfortable pregnancies and safer, more satisfying and supportive births through prenatal massage, doula services, and coaching. Welcome, Mollie.
Hi, Dr. Brayton. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad to have you on the call today. In where I practice in Hoboken, you are the prenatal massage therapist to go to in the Hoboken community. And so I'm really excited to have you share your wisdom specifically for women that are pregnant or have just given birth of how they can benefit from massage. So let's talk about what made you choose to become a prenatal massage therapist.
Sure. Well, it started when I was pregnant with my first daughter, Minerva, and at that time I had already been a massage therapist for some time, but naturally, being a massage therapist, I sought out massage as a way to manage some of the discomforts that I was experiencing myself when I was pregnant. And unfortunately, though, I was disappointed by the lack of skilled expertise available to me at that time. I just couldn't find therapists or wellness centers that were really comfortable and knowledgeable providing massage therapy to a pregnant woman. And so I noticed that there was a big gap there because, boy, could I use one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you saw that, and then you decided to get, additional training?
Yes, so after my daughter was born, I became very passionate about providing this type of care to pregnant women after having experienced how much I felt I needed it at that time. So I went on to study with Elaine Stillerman, who teaches one of the well-known prenatal massage certification classes that's available. She's also the author of a well-known prenatal massage textbook and a few others. So I got my continuing ed from her, and then I began to focus my practice on the needs of pregnant women, and it's been 11 years now since.
That's awesome. So tell us, what are the benefits of prenatal massage?
Well, when you're talking about anything pregnancy, you have to sort of talk about two tracks. So there's the benefits for the mom, of course, and then there's the benefits for the baby. So I don't know, which do you want to hear about first?
Let's start with mom.
Okay. So, of course, moms during pregnancy are going through a variety of different adaptive stresses, which means that they're experiencing a lot of changes on every level. Physically, their physical structure is changing. They're having to use their muscles in different ways to support the changes that their body is undergoing. And sometimes that doesn't go off so easily. Oftentimes, pregnant women suffer from sciatica, rib pain, hip pain, calf cramps at night. It's difficult to find a comfortable position to sleep in. Different parts of their bodies are being compressed at night, and they wake up sore and uncomfortable, and they don't get a chance to repair while they're sleeping as a result. So the stresses just simply accumulate and worsen in their bodies as the pregnancy progresses. And as the stressors, they themselves get even more prominent. So on a physical level, prenatal massage, a skilled, knowledgeable therapist who specializes in pregnancy will be familiar with the common musculoskeletal dysfunctions that are typically brought about or made worse by the pregnancy, and will be able to treat those safely and effectively in a way that those dysfunctions can be corrected or their progress can be slowed or stopped, and prevent further degeneration from occurring. Even after the pregnancy is over, some of these dysfunctions continue to progress. I have many clients who, after they've given birth, they come back for their postnatal massages, and it's evident that they're still dealing with some of these issues, and in fact, more so with clients who are coming for the first time after their pregnancy, who I wasn't seeing regularly, and then they will find scar tissue, let's say, in their near their sacrum, and they'll tell me, yeah, I've had that ever since I was pregnant. So a lot of the things that come about, a lot of the dysfunction that comes about, still affects women well beyond the pregnancy itself, which a lot of people don't realize. So it's really important to treat these things and not allow them to progress.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, as an attorney chiropractor, I'll see women with, we're talking specifically like joint and, muscle issues during their pregnancy. And a lot of the injuries actually even really occurred pre-pregnancy and weren't addressed. And the pregnancy kind of exacerbated or brought the symptoms more to the surface or more intense, where at that point they were finally, seeking care and getting help.
That's right. Yes. So some dysfunctions are brought about by the pregnancy itself, and some are made worse or exacerbated by the pregnancy. But there's a lot of postural stresses that are also made worse by the pregnancy as well. Mm-hmm. Many women come complaining of neck and shoulder pain and low back pain, which are more postural.
Right. So you mentioned some benefits for physical, issues and pain. What about emotional support?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked about that. Yes, absolutely. I mean, when we talk about a little bit about adaptive stress, now that is on a physical level, but also every level of a person's life is undergoing dramatic shifts during pregnancy. I mean, you're looking at becoming a parent, or if you already have children, at adding a person into your family, which changes the dynamic between each member of the family. You're talking about additional financial stresses, relationship stress, job stress. It just ratchets it up a notch on every level. So, of course, when we're having any kind of emotional stress, our bodies are producing stress hormones. So, corticosteroids and a variety of different cocktails that our bodies produce and put out into our bloodstream and cause different physiologic effects. Now, massage therapy has the effect of reducing stress hormones and promoting feel-good hormones, endorphins, which really puts us more in a growth and repair mode. When the body is under the influence of stress hormones repeatedly, we tend to get worn down. We're not as effective at work. We tend to be testy. We snap at people. We don't enjoy ourselves as much, and actually our bodies are also not functioning at their peak as well. So massage therapy helps to kind of brush away that accumulated emotional stress and tension and kind of restore a pregnant woman back down to her normal emotional state, so that then she can deal with the stresses of life from a more level-headed and grounded and centered place. Yeah,
it's really true. It's such a life-changing event that, of course, there's going to be emotional stress involved. It's normal and natural, and it's so important to bring in modalities like massage to support and manage that stress effectively, because those neurotransmitters and stress chemicals that you were mentioning do impact the baby.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say next, is that,
baby.
So the physiologic changes that the stress hormones cause in the body are not supportive of fetal growth. So basically, the human body has two modes. It's got protection and growth, and those two modes are they're not they don't exist at the same time. So they're kind of exclusive to one another, and the primary hormone of the growth mode is actually oxytocin, which is promoted by touch. so when you're getting a massage, you're actually creating conditions within the body that promote fetal growth and development. Now, when you're under stress, unfortunately, the maternal blood flow is diverted away from the baby and to the extremities in preparation for fight or flight. And so as a result, when a woman is under constant stress, less blood is really getting to the baby, and so the baby doesn't grow as much as it would have had the mother been under less stress.
Mm.
There's also links. There's also links to a bunch of adulthood diseases and low birth weight. So it's really important for a baby to be at its optimal birth weight.
Right.
There's also some interesting studies being done about brain development in babies intrauterine, and what they're finding is that mothers who are stressed, those stress hormones, vasopressin and cortisol, they enter the baby's bloodstream and actually influence the baby's brain development to where they're actually developing to be a little more aggressive and a little less social, as opposed to babies who are in a uterine environment that's influenced more by those feel-good hormones. So, and in today's society, we're very much dependent upon our abilities to cooperate, to work in teams, in corporate environments, and in any situation. Our society really demands us to be functioning well socially. And it turns out that the baby's experience while they're developing via the mother actually influences their ability to do that on a neurobiological level.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's like, you influence something at this a critical developmental period. So, it's like a little move that you make here can influence the whole trajectory of a human being's life. And I'm not saying that you can't course correct along the way. I mean, people can achieve amazing things. But at the same time, you do want to give the new person coming into being every chance that they have. You want to give them every opportunity that you can.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you're wiring your infant to kind of react to adrenaline, then that's also, setting them up to have adrenal fatigue and just really being imbalanced with their chemicals within the biochemistry of their body.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're absolutely. I hadn't even thought of that. I thought a lot about how they function in society. But you're right. You're setting them up to overutilize their adrenals, which is a huge problem for a lot of people these days.
There was actually a study that showed that women that were under high emotional stress during their pregnancy, the babies were born with adrenal glands that were hypertrophied. So therefore the mother was actually leaching adrenal hormones from the baby to supplement hers because her adrenals were shot.
Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
Wow.
It's really scary. So it's just good to be aware that, going into pregnancy, if you're preconception or, newly pregnant, it's really about shifting gears in your life and making lifestyle changes, so that you're not in this constant fight or flight, adrenaline mode. It's about really creating a little more life-work balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything changes, and that's another thing that my clients tell me that they like about coming here regularly to my wellness center is that it just gives them time out to reflect on the changes that they're going through and to appreciate the life that's developing within them. And whereas during their normal day, they're just running from one obligation to the next.
Right.
It's really important in whatever way that you choose to find time to carve out to just be present. to the fact that, you're making a baby.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It's about being present. It's about being mindful. And I really do encourage women during their pregnancy to really try to enjoy and cherish the pregnancy, because no one's pregnant forever. It's a finite amount of time. And instead of just focusing on a finish line of birth, actually just enjoy the moment where you're at that point in the pregnancy, all of it, whether it's, not the best time of your life or whatever, is still, even if you're having symptoms, I should say, there's still a lot to celebrate with making that baby.
Absolutely, and I think it makes a difference. I mean, in the field of perinatal psychology, the people who do the studies there, they talk a lot about talking to the baby about the baby's awareness, even as they're developing. And I don't know, but I have a lot of clients who tell me that they do that. They talk to their babies, and they feel like, when they come out, they definitely recognize your voice. Yeah. And they benefit. I do believe that they benefit from being in relationship with them, even at that stage. Yeah.
Yeah, they already can start the bonding process. They don't have to wait until after the baby's born.
Yeah.
That's so true. So one thing I wanted to make sure we addressed is, when can women start getting prenatal massages? I know some women get concerned that it's dangerous to get a massage during the pregnancy, so I wanted to kind of address that.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you asked, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about the safety of prenatal massage. And sure, I wouldn't go to anyone who wasn't certified, who didn't do their continuing ed in it. But at the same time, as long as you're going to somebody who's certified in prenatal massage, then you can go as soon as you find out. There's really no reason that you wouldn't go in the first trimester. Many people, many therapists who don't know better, they will avoid it, and I truly believe that the underlying reasons for that is a more fear of litigation, because, as we all know, the first 12 weeks are an iffy period of any pregnancy. And pregnancy is not considered established until after the first trimester, and that's because many times it doesn't go off well, and the body doesn't form properly, and there's a natural expulsion of the pregnancy, and that's just a very common fact. But unfortunately, a lot of practitioners don't want the possibility of being implicated in a lawsuit as a result. And really, there's no connection between prenatal massage and miscarriage, but simply because it's more likely in the first trimester, a lot of practitioners will avoid it. Just they don't want any possibility of being implicated. And that's the only reason. If you really look at it throughout the ages, for thousands of years, in Japan and in India and many, many cultures, massage therapy is actually the primary form of prenatal care. It's an integral part of prenatal care everywhere else in the world. And it's done from the very beginning all the way to the very end, and even past dates. And a lot of people also believe that that massage can somehow put them into labor prematurely. Now, there is some basis for this idea, but it's misinterpreted. Basically, there are pressure points in the meridian system, the system of Chinese medicine, where if certain lines of energy, certain meridians are imbalanced, then, and you're ready to go, then by correcting those imbalances, then you'll go as normal. You'll go as intended. But pressing those same points when everything is balanced is not gonna cause an imbalance. It's not gonna cause you to go into labor. It's the same thing with raspberry leaf and nettles tea. If you're deficient in the minerals that those herbs provide, and you're not going into labor because you're deficient, but you are term, then, bringing your levels up will allow you to go as intended, but will not make you go preterm. So that's that's how that works. It's not like press a button, go into labor. I mean, no.
Right. Yeah, some women wish it was that easy.
I know, right? I mean, then we wouldn't need Pitocin, which, by the way, doesn't work either if you do it and the mom and baby aren't ready.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Really gonna. Yeah, I have plenty, hundreds of clients who have been down that road. I mean, after 10, 11 years of doing this, I have heard so many stories of women going in for an induction, and the induction fails because their body's not ready. So nothing's going to make her go into labor if she's not ready.
Right. That's true. And then if it's not the right time, then sometimes those interventions can actually lead to an emergency cesarean.
Well, that's what happens. Like when the induction doesn't work, then they just go straight to the C-section. So,
right.
Yeah. So, unfortunately.
So, is there any home care recommendations that you can recommend to women between their prenatal massages, and also maybe just mention the frequency that you would recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are good questions. So in terms of frequency for prenatal massages, the standard frequency for a normal, healthy woman with a basic level of function in her body would be very similar to your doctor visits. So once a month in the first trimester, twice a month, so every 2 weeks in the second trimester, and then every once a week in the third trimester. And some people will come twice a week if, let's say, they have twins or if they're having a lot of challenges. But some people just treat themselves every now and then. We don't mind that. It's fine to give yourself a treat, but it's really important. You can recognize massage therapy as a real part of your prenatal care to maintain your condition, as opposed to it's like brushing your teeth. I mean, people didn't used to know about brushing their teeth 100 years ago, and their teeth were falling out at the age of 50.
Right.
And it's the same nowadays. I mean, people are losing their range of motion, they're losing their strength and their function much earlier than they need to be, and especially during a stressful period of life. It's like once again brushing your teeth, right? Like, you should do it once a day, but if you ate candy, then maybe you should do it more often, right? So if you're having more stressors, then you need to maintain yourself more frequently. So as the pregnancy goes on, it gets more and more stressful on the body, and so we recommend coming more often. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then as far as things that, I'm sorry?
I said that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we have a lot of clients who say that it's the one thing that keeps them going, that they look forward to every week. And then as far as what people can do in between professional massage sessions to maintain themselves, it really depends on their symptoms, but let's say just general muscle aches and swelling, you can take an Epsom salt bath. The key with that is to put enough salt. A lot of people don't put enough. We really recommend putting 10 cups. So it's basically like almost the whole bag. Just dump it in.
10 cups, wow.
Yes. Yeah. So you dump it in, and then you want to melt it down at first. So you use a warm temperature to melt the salt, but then after that, you don't want the temperature to be too hot, because actually if it's too hot, it's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to leach magnesium from your body. If it's tepid, then the magnesium is going to be absorbed by our body, which is a natural muscle relaxer and something that many people, and pregnant women especially, are deficient in. So magnesium is really important for muscle function, not just skeletal muscle, but smooth muscle as well. So all your organs and blood vessels and all your muscles are going to be functioning better when they have the right amount of magnesium, which is the best way to absorb it is transdermally through the skin. And so a bath makes a great way to do that. And if you want, you can drop in 10 to 12 drops of geranium essential oil, which is great for swelling, and it smells wonderful. So that's a nice bath that you can treat yourself to, just to once again make sure that the water is not too hot. It should be like tepid or room temperature.
Okay.
Also, a lot of pregnant women get really hot feet and hands. There's like swelling, but it's also this deep heat that gets in there. So we recommend cold plunge baths, foot and hand baths. So you take like a pot or a big bowl and you just fill it with ice cubes and water, and you just plunge your hands or feet right in there for a few seconds. I mean, it's scary at first, like, oh, I don't want to do it. But once you do it, it feels amazing. It's such a relief. And if you do this from early on, if you make a habit of it, you're less likely to develop that kind of swelling. So that's nice, not to have to walk around in flip-flops all the time.
Right. How long do they keep their hands or feet in for? Just a few seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds. I mean, as long
30
as
seconds.
It'll actually feel really good, so just keep it in as long as it feels good. If it starts being annoying, then just take it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, let's see, rolling around in a tennis ball is really great. Any kind of ball, but, just take a little bit of the air out and then place it on the part of you that's achy. Let's say a lot of people put it on their sacrum or in their hips, and then lean up against a wall with the ball in between yourself and the wall. And lean your body weight into the ball, into the spot that's aching. And you can just lean there and stay there until the achiness subsides, or you can roll around on it, whatever feels better. And that's a great way to maintain your normal tissue tone in between massages.
What about a foam roller?
Foam rollers are great too. I mean, foam rollers are good for broad areas. Whereas the ball is better for smaller, more like trigger points, or for areas like the hips where where if you have a smaller point that's deeper. So it just depends on where you feel the achiness.
Right.
Or you can play around with both, whichever one seems to do the trick better.
Cool. Those are really great recommendations. The last thing I wanted to ask you, if a woman is not living in the Hoboken area, because of course if she is, she should go to HobokenPrenatal.com and check out your wellness center. But if someone does not live locally, what's the best way for them to find a skilled prenatal massage therapist?
That's a really good question. So you definitely want somebody who has completed one of the continuing eds for prenatal massage. So I would probably go straight there. Like I would go to Elaine Stillerman. I would search Elaine Stillerman and contact her and ask her for graduates in your area. Or there's another one, Carol Osborne, Body Therapy Associates, does a very well-respected continuing ed. So if you look her up and then ask her to, again, just give you a list of graduates in your area, that would probably be how I would try to find somebody. If I didn't know where to look, that would be what I would do.
Or I guess also women can ask the women in their community, where do they go for prenatal massage, and they might get some good referrals that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, moms need to be, we need each other. So if you have a local moms group, definitely join it, or, leverage that. Use your resources and see what other people who have already been down that road in your area have done and enjoyed.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom about prenatal and postnatal massage.
Thanks for having me.